You're listening to the Epically Geeky Show, a place for all things geeky.
Welcome out to the Epically Geeky Show. I am your host for the evening, Eugene Stevens. Tonight I'm joined by Ray, Kris, and Joseph. How are y'all doing?
Yes.
Good. Yes. Okay. Sure enough. Let's see here. Tonight's opening question is, what job have you had that you've worked in that you think needs a sitcom based on it? It could be because of the people you worked with. It could be because it's just like, no, that job, like that could be that needs to have a sitcom based on it. So would anyone like to go first?
I'll go.
All right, Kris, what job have you had that you think there needs to be a sitcom based on?
So I think it was 2016 or 2017. I can't remember. I did a summer at the farmer's market. I had a little table where I sold cookies and Rice Krispie squares.
I think it could be hilarious.
So
That would be hilarious.
So just because I met some real personalities.
Just the fighting over where the tents go.
But just like everybody was sort of like, because it was a small farmer's market and it only ran for like 6 hours, or not even 6 hours, it was 5 hours. But like on windy days, cold days, people didn't show up. They put,
watch somebody else's booth for them while
when they go to the bathroom, and
washroom there.
Yeah. So it's just, and then, people
Cash.
showing up late, people having to leave all that cash, people, stuff like that. So it was really fun. And I did it for a whole summer, and it was really, so people were really, really nice, and some were quirky. But yeah, it was a really neat experience.
Do you remember Ishmael and how like the one woman shows up with the husband and he's setting everything?
Yep.
Yes. With that whole, like montage when they were setting up the mark. I'm like, that I've done that.
But I heard the fighting as well. That was a good way to here.
Yeah. So that it would be funny. Yeah, it would be funny.
Nice. Joseph.
So when I was in grad school, I worked for a tutoring company. And what's interesting about this tutoring company is that it's like markets itself as high-end boutique, blah, blah, blah. Like, for example, 1 hour of ACT tutoring was $150. Like that's the kind of thing. So along with that service meant I was the one that did the traveling. Kids didn't come to me, I went to them. And so there are many a rich person's house that I have been into that is very much just raises so many questions. Number one, so first and foremost, there's some people like, how the hell do you make the money that you have? Because you are very clearly stupid. Like there is absolutely no way that you should have any of the money that you have. And then you have these other families that I won't say any names because, I never know, that I worked with from the time that their kid was a freshman in high school all the way until they were a senior in high school. And so I got to know the families really well. And then, I was just another member of the family. Like I would get Christmas cards from them and stuff like that. And they'd invite me over to dinner, or they do the really weird thing where I had one family, I'm tutoring the daughter on there's like a study room on the second floor, and we're going through math. And then I hear, Joseph, can you help me with something? I'm like, sure. And I walk downstairs, and she's like, I can't reload my account so that we can keep tutoring going here. She's like, do you mind helping me out? And all this time I just hear her. I cannot see her. She's like, I'm in my bedroom. I was like, well, no. And she's like, and then I hear Kris, I almost said his name. Kris, the husband's like, no, Joseph, come on in here. And he's in bed without a shirt on, and she's just wearing like a little nightie. And she asked me to go sit down at the computer to help whatever she's doing. And then I go back upstairs and I sit down, and the girl who's tutoring looks at me and she's like, you look kind of horrified. I was like, I saw way more of your parents than I wanted to, and then all I hear is, oh my God, you guys cannot do that to him. And so there are so many. And just because we live in Texas, I lived in Texas at the time, I also dealt with some people that were, I showed up to someone's house in my work uniform that said my company's name across my chest The guy opened the door and looked at me and said, "I don't need a gardener," and then closed the door on me. And just stuff like that also happened. So like it was stuff that went borderline incredibly inappropriate. Like one mom asking me to go on like the family vacation with them, and to the complete opposite side of just the blatant racism. So
Yeah,
that definitely needs its own sitcom.
Oh, absolutely. Like if you had like a core group of 5 or 6 people and then like you're just following them, that'd be fantastic actually. So
it's very much a teachers see a lot of crap, but they don't see what goes on at the home.
Yeah. Fair enough.
Yeah.
Ray.
So I was like, oh, I could do like when I worked in IT. I'm like, no, IT crowd's already done. So I'm like, oh, like radiation worker. No, The Simpsons exists and it does a great job of doing that. And then I was like, what could be like more of a horror story? And that was like my meat cleaning days in the grocery store, but that'd be just disgusting because nobody wants to see that shit. So I was like, I went back to like my second job I ever had. It was the best. You'd have to base this in like the 80s and 90s, but the change person at an arcade.
Oh, that'd be awesome.
Great job. And all the shenanigans that happen, all the people, you get your regulars coming in. It's teenage stories, obviously. So it would be like, yeah. Anyway,
you were 14 when you did that?
Yeah, fucking best job I ever had.
My first thought was my current job, campus technologist, just because. But I'm like you, like we have already got Abbott Elementary, and it does a great job of being on the nose when it comes to like what its real life at a school is like. I still think it would still be a good job for a sitcom. I thought my second thought was when I guess really my first real job was movie theater doorman. But there's I thought about it. It might be okay. You could definitely have a group of people, and you've got different shifts that come in. Some people you don't like to work with, and so on and so forth. Kind of like a lot of other jobs. But after hearing Kris talk, I think honestly, kind of piggybacking off of that would be people working at a booth at cons. Like that would be fantastic because then you could have all the different sci-fi tropes and fantasy tropes walking in and interacting or whatever. And then there is a culture, like you get to know these other people. You're just like, oh, hey, you're showing up for this one. Are you going to be at the next one? Or I think that would be fantastic. And it would definitely show people that, there's a, if you go to a lot of cons, there's a lot of stuff. You have no idea what's going on in the background. So, especially, and then of course, you'd have people griping about, well, the drop off was horrible, or there was no place to park, and why the hell are we still here at 6 o'clock on a Sunday night? No one's even here, like that type of stuff. It can be fun. So, the reason for the opening question is Joseph came up with this idea. It was your idea, right, Joseph? Mm-hmm. Okay. Joseph came up with this idea of well, you tell us, how did you come up with the idea?
So I was excuse me, scrolling through Crunchyroll, looking to see what summer animes are going to be coming out. And there's an anime that is getting a second season that it's been like 8 or 9 years since the first season. So it's been a very long time. Wow, and I remember watching it and thinking that this is just a hilarious concept. And the basic concept behind the anime is the devil doesn't want to rule over hell anymore. He's bored. He says it's not his job. He doesn't want to do it. And so he and his friends, the normal demons that you would hear about in mythology or whatever, decide to leave, and they all get jobs at a McDonald's or the McDonald's equivalent. And it is very much a show about what it's like to work at a fast food place, but with the devil and his demon minions, and him trying to constantly keep them from like murdering their customers because people are stupid and stuff like that, And I just thought that would be a kind of a cool thing to see, like how we could come up with dropping other characters in that type of situation.
And that's where we ran with the idea. So to mix things up a little bit, I threw out there to the group, instead of everyone picking your own group and job or whatever, should we do the shuffle where essentially, I pick the job for the person to my left and the group to the person to my right, and we go all the way around. And so we assigned each other jobs and groups, and we're basically forced to come up with how that would work, how that would all fit together. So I get we have not talked about, we have some ideas because we know what we've assigned some people, but in some cases I have no idea. Like I have no idea what was assigned to Joseph. So we haven't even talked about it before the show. So this is going to be kind of revealing everything all at once.
It's a screw it, we'll do it live moment.
Yeah, and pretty much. So that being said, should we go around first and just explain what everyone got assigned, and then we can start going around from there?
Yeah, because I have words about my assignments.
Okay. Okay, we'll tell you what. What my assignment was given to me by Ray and Kris, and so
we did not cooperate.
They didn't tell each other. And so the first message I opened up is from Ray, and he says 80s era Transformers. And I'm just like, sweet, I got this down. I know all the characters and everything else. Good to go. And so then I open up the next message from Kris, and it literally says high-end what's it called? Real estate agency. And I'm just like, okay. So I had to do a little bit of research on this because I'm just like, I have some ideas. But then once I started figuring out, the main thing was I need to figure out kind of some of the roles in like this type of a job or whatever. And then once I started figuring that stuff out, I was just like, oh, I've got these down. This is gonna be fun. Yeah. Ray, who gave you your group and your stuff?
Joseph gave me Thundercats, which I appreciate. However, I need to do research because I am not up on my Thundercat knowledge at all. It was a cartoon that I watched a little bit when I was a kid, and then I went into all the other stuff that I remember. I never really delved into the story of Thundercats. I just thought it was a cool show to watch.
Right.
So I had to do some research on that one. And then Eugene decided to give me the challenge of creating something around the indie game studio. So that was interesting. And I think I'm doing okay because I was able to at least get an idea how to go with it. So yeah.
My first thought was I was going to give you like a automotive shop or something like that, and I thought, no, he might get bored or something with that. So I was like, well, he likes playing games. Well, let's do an indie game studio. Because then I thought it would also leave you open to kind of be like, well, they're obviously going to need someone to like do the bills, and they're going to need someone that's going to like run the shop, and you have play testers. And I just thought I would kind of give you some options.
I hope you appreciate what I came up with.
Okay, I'm sure I will. Kris, who gave you your assignments?
Eugene gave me the group, which was the OG Care Bears. I loved the Care Bears. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And then the business was via Joseph, so thank you. And it is a Mexican restaurant. I had worked in a restaurant when I was a teenager.
Nice. And Joseph, who gave you your assignments?
So Ray and Kris gave me my assignments.
Again, we did not cooperate.
And I don't know what Kris gave you up to this point. So,
so Ray gave me Freebirds. So I'm going to be running a Freebird.
It's my favorite Texas friggin' restaurant. Man. It was so awesome.
Kris wasn't specific about this group, but I just assumed because I feel like I know well enough. But she gave me the Orc Army of Middle-earth to run my Freebirds. And the reasons why I said I have words about this is because in my infinite nerdom of all things Tolkien, I sat back and I realized, I was like, well, I can't just name a random orc. No one's going to know who the hell that is.
Right.
So I had to go back and I had to check orcs that had lines in the movies.
Oh my
so I could be
God.
like, oh, it's this guy that said this thing is doing this.
I appreciate
Thank you,
that.
Kris.
Oh, wow. You did your research.
My rationale was like, he's read the Silmarillion. He's fine. It's okay. Reason.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. But it was like, I couldn't be like, oh, we're gonna have Lagbath the Unrelenting, because who the hell is that? So I had to figure out ways that I could relate it to things.
Fair enough. Okay, this one's gonna be interesting. So would anyone like to go first with what they came up with?
I want to hear Ray's. I'm gonna be honest.
All right, Ray. Tell you what, you go first.
So I had to do some research and figure out like who, because I just remembered that there was a guy that had held the sword, and I remembered that there was a girl that ran really fast and all that other stuff. So what I was able to look up was, so I start off. My inspiration for which indie group or indie studio I'm going after is Arrowhead Games, because I figured that that's a good one to go off of. So I kind of looked them up, and I thought the CEO position really fit with Lionel.
Right. Yeah.
The head, right? Hero, good standing, and the CEO definitely matches that. So like, okay, that fits really nicely. Tigra, I was like, okay, that's second in command. So there's your studio coordinator, right? Where it's more that person that kind of like helps run the show and make sure everything's good. The other thing is that Tigra had the ability to put like illusions in people's heads and stuff like that too. So it's like, okay, that'd be really good to help with motivating people to the right. So definitely leaning in on that to get people to do what they want and need. Chitara is super fast, really good, really smart, but also has that sixth sense and vision, and like is able to see kind of the future. So I used her as like the lead designer to see what people would enjoy, and then it's like, okay, they're going to enjoy this, but then she's down and out for a while, so she can't actually like she gives it to the minions to design, but she gives them the ideas.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah. I'll get to that person in a second. Wily Cat and Wily Kit, I put as the testers because that just made sense.
Yep.
Snarf is able to speak to pretty much everybody. So I'm like, you know what? Snarf would be great for HR. You don't really like them, and you don't know why. They're kind of like, but they're able to talk to you. So they kind of feel like they need to parent you.
Right.
But you don't need them to. So
yes.
That Snarf type of caregiver role is HR to me.
That's hilarious.
And then is it Jaga?
Jaga.
Sorry?
Jaga.
So Jaga, that it being a spirit, I was like, okay, well that's their AI. And that's going to be their marketing director, because why not, right? Like,
right. Okay.
Super smart, that kind of knows the business, has all the knowledge from the past, and is able to help you with marketing for the future. So that's all that. I hope you appreciate this one, Joseph. Panthro, I went with the community manager, because Panthro kind of has a short fuse, and I could see him kind of losing it on people on the internet.
Right.
Very, very much like the community manager of Arrowhead, talking shit to the gamers. Just get good.
Just shut up and get good at the game.
Yeah.
So I really thought that would be appropriate. And then how could you not have the finance officer as Mumra? It's got to be Mumra.
Yes.
So that way you've got the CEO fighting the CFO all the time as to what the best property going forward is.
Yeah.
Nice. Very well done.
There you go.
So are his minions the actual coders? Like, just keep your head down, keep going? Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Amazing.
Very well done. Very well done. Yeah, I was like, okay, Panthro's net left. Who's he putting there? That's a great placement for Panthro.
You can see him with his little nunchucks, just like,
oh yeah, hitting the keyboard with it, just like, and they're Snarf like, whoa, hey, wait.
Good job, sir. Well, very well done. Kris, do you want to go next?
Sure. Okay, so the Mexican restaurant. I did the 2 original films, so the bears from that. So the
Okay.
in the 84 one, because you can go down a rabbit hole with all the friggin' Care Bears and cousins.
So does that include the animal ones, like the lion and all?
No, those are
The cousins? Nope. Okay.
Okay, not the cousins.
No Heart is my favorite. I could really have cared less about the character, like the characters. I loved No Heart. I loved him. He was such a good. I loved him. To this day, he's my favorite villain. Exactly that. So No Heart is the business owner. So he
Okay.
is it.
Already.
Beastly is his runner man, his underling, his yes man. He does everything that No Heart doesn't like. He's like his assistant, kind of.
Mhm.
And then Shrieky she's the heir to this Mexican restaurant. So she's super entitled and bitchy and stuff like that. So that's the money.
Right.
And the manager of all of this is Grumpy Bear.
Of course.
Not to be. And so
I'm not gonna lie, I was kind of hoping Grumpy was the dishwasher, but that's
no.
okay.
I was hoping he was going to be like the maitre d'.
I didn't get that far. I didn't get that into it because there's too many bears. So Grumpy Bear is the overall manager, and then for the day shift supervisor, I have Funshine Bear.
Okay.
Evening shift supervisor, I have Bedtime Bear.
That's good.
Okay. Yeah.
But Funshine is definitely like that upbeat, like
It's fun.
it's gonna be a great day.
Yes.
It's Tuesday at 1:00. Nobody's in there. She's giving her, you know.
Yep. Absolutely.
Like all the flair.
Oh hell yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So the assistant manager to Grumpy is Cheer Bear, because I feel like
That would be a good, yeah.
Mhm.
compliment that, right? And so the wait staff, I have Friend Bear, Wish Bear, and Love a Lot Bear.
Okay.
You know?
Yep.
And then the cooks, I have Tenderheart, Birthday Bear, and Good Luck Bear. And then I figured the rest could all be like summer employees, like because restaurants are high rotating when it comes to
Yeah.
So they could all just come and go and in and out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But that's sort of
That's your key.
those are my key things. But I was like, No Heart has to own the whole thing.
Mhm.
What would the name of that place be?
I don't even know, but
Oh, that's a good question.
Yeah. I'm open. I have no I don't know, but yeah, like No Heart. I love No Heart and Beastly. They were my favorites. That's why I used to watch it.
You could just call it.
It'd be like Shine Out Your Ass or something.
The Mexican restaurant. What is that in Spanish?
Like bear is also.
Like,
Because we-
out your ass. No, what he
Oh.
said.
I don't know. There's a direct translation for that. That's
Shine coming from your ass.
I would just do something very generic and just call it something like Taco Oso.
Yeah. Bear
Be like,
tacos.
let's go eat at the Taco Bear. Okay.
Yep. It's Taco Bear's the something on their menu.
There's what's funny is there's a little local. I've only been there once. It was actually really good. But there's a place called Waffle Bear here in Killeen, and it's literally just Waffle Bear. It's like okay. So
Yeah.
Would it be Taco Care?
No,
Taco Bear.
get a bear.
Well, it's the
I still like the Oso part though.
I'm curious what Care Bears translated to in Spanish.
Yeah, what is that?
Or since it's a proper name, did they just
Happy
Yeah,
Tummy.
that's what I'm googling. Like did the
Those.
Happy Tummy Tacos.
it's los ositos cariñositos. So the Care Bears. It's like the little bears that are caring is the way.
okay.
Oh,
translate.
that's cute. Okay, I like that. That's what.
So you call it los ositos, the little bears.
Little bears. I like that.
Sounds, yeah, I'd eat there.
It sounds nice when you say it. I have a good accent.
Yeah, instead
Good.
it would be Care Meals.
Mhm.
And then say like second season, if you wanted to, then you could bring in the cousins to.
Then you bring the cousins
yeah.
in, and then it can get a little bit more, kind of like how The Office went. Like they had their little decor, and they kind of like brought.
Oh
it
yeah.
in. So something like that. But there's a lot of fucking bears. My sister, like her thing, she goes and buys these bears at thrift stores and stuff like that. I have 2 of them downstairs. This woman can find OG 80s Care Bears for like $5. She's amazing.
Damn.
Yeah, in really good condition too.
I'm sure if we actually looked up what they're worth.
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah.
Nice.
Pardon me. Well, Joseph, do you want to go next?
Yeah, I want to hear this. Let's go.
All right. So like I said earlier in the show, I had to do a little more research to make it kind of believable here. Since it's free birds and there really isn't like, I don't need to worry about wait staff or anything like that. I only chose 6 orcs that are going to run because I feel like I've never seen more than like 6 or 7 people out of free birds anyways.
Oh yeah.
In there,
yeah.
You know, so I feel like this is so some of these may sound familiar, but I'm going to tell you the line that they say that may trigger like, oh, it's that one as well. So Azog, who is the white orc from The Hobbit, he led an army. You know, he had his dire wolves and whatnot. So I made him the manager of the store. He's also one of the food preppers because he has a blade for an arm because of Thor and Oakenshield. So that just made the most sense.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know, so he definitely has to be that guy. He's generally pissed off with everyone always because all the other orcs are just idiots. So he made the perfect manager. Ugluk is going to be our assistant manager. He's going to be the one in charge of changing up the menus on the boards every time they add stuff to it. Because he's the one that says, looks like meat is back on the menu, boys. So he's in charge of the menu. You know? So that's his thing, and he'll help out with line preparation and whatnot as well. Snaga, he is way too overzealous, and he gets in trouble a lot with Azog because when you ask him for a double meat, he's like really pouring it on there. Snaga is the one that was so voraciously hungry he tried to murder Merry and Pippin. And so he's there just like trying to make up for that hunger, and he just kind of like piling on and making your monster burrito is just going to be a literal monster. Grishnak, he's the one that told Ugluk that why don't we just cut off their legs? We can eat the legs, you know, and then we can we can still deliver them to Saruman. Well, he's going to be our cashier because he's going to try to upsell you all this stuff. It's like, why don't you just add this on there?
Nice.
And get some queso, you know, just a little bit, just throw it on there. And so I figured he would be a real good cashier. Gorbag, he's the one that found Frodo when he was cocooned by Shelob. He's going to be our stockroom worker. He's just lugging shit around always because that's what he does. He cleans up Shelob's cave. So that's what he did. He's going to be bringing food back and forth. He's going to be a stockroom worker. And then finally, we did have to have someone that's bussing tables and cleaning and everything like that. So we're going to have Lugdush doing that one. And he's the one that in the Two Towers starts sniffing and smells and goes, smells like man flesh. He's going to be the perfect janitor. He's going to know when things smell and needs to be cleaned. And that was my attempt of relating all of those orcs to everybody.
Well done.
That was tough.
Yeah.
I'm really sorry because when I was like, oh, he's so brilliant. He knows way more than I do.
And, which is fair. Like I was just like, okay, well, there's the different orcs that led the different charges. Like the one that I don't remember his name off the top of the head, but he carries the torch and he's the one that runs into Helm's Deep. The thing, you know, like he could be the guy outside spinning the sign. And, trying to get it. But I couldn't remember his name, so I was like, okay, I'm not gonna include it.
I like that addition too. That's good.
I don't know if I would eat there though. This would be I'd walk in and be like, nope.
Well, first of all, this would be the Freebirds in Mordor. So
okay, fair enough. Yeah.
You know, you're not questionable sources of meats.
Yeah.
Well done.
Be like, this is clearly a giant spider's leg. So you might could have passed it off as beef, but you clearly said this was chicken and this is a no-go. So All right. Well, the one that I was given, like I said, was high-end real estate firm using the original 80s Transformers. So the stipulation I put on myself was I restricted myself to season 1 of the original show. Because technically Gen 1 goes all 3 of those first seasons, essentially. And so that's the only way I could have gotten a female character in there. But I'm like, nope, I'm just going to go season 1 because it kind of restricts me a little bit. And I think I can make this work. So what I did was got to start off at the top like everyone else did. You have your founding members, and that's going to be Optimus Prime and Megatron. So they've decided to go in together. The problem with them is they're always going back and forth with each other. They're always Prime's constantly like, listen, people need houses. It's a new couple starting out. Let's cut them a deal. Of course, Megatron's like, no, we need to get as much money as we can. So they're constantly going back and forth on pricing. So if depending on which salesperson it is, they may go to one or the other, especially if they're trying to really get it sold. They may go to Prime because they're just like, oh, Prime's gonna let me this go for a little bit less. I might be able to get this sale in better. So that's who our founding members are, and that's who the top dogs are.
I would hate to like come across Megatron and like piss him off, and he turns into his gun. But at that point, it's like you can't really do anything else. So.
Fair enough, yeah. So payroll and budgeting. So we got to pay everyone. We got to get all the money and stuff going out. That's clearly going to be Soundwave. Just because he's so analytical. Plus the voice would just be fantastic every time you go in there to talk to him. Him trying to explain all the these numbers and stuff. I can already see people sitting there and he's trying to explain numbers and they're just like, what? So for the sales team. I had six salesmen. I wanted 3 from each side, and the salesmen are supposed to be, the slick guys. They're supposed to be, the good-looking guys that can kind of talk you into buying the house or whatever. And so I picked the 3 seekers: Starscream, Thundercracker, and Skywarp. Skywarp, Thundercracker, I think they might work with you. It's going to be okay. Starscream is just, he can't ever get his sales. Like he can't figure out why. It's that voice. No one can stand the fucking voice. And they're just like, no, we're going to go check with someone else. Do what?
He's the old Gil.
I know. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And then for the Autobots, I had Sideswipe, Sunstreaker, and Mirage. Basically 2 Lamborghinis and an F1 car. Like you didn't get much sexier than that, right? Yeah. So, and I mean, Sunstreaker and Sideswipe are brothers. They like to cut up with each other. So you're going to have a fun time going with that. So, advertising, it's got to be Jazz. Jazz, get out there, talks in rhymes constantly. He'd be our advertiser. Staging, lesser known Decepticons, but there was 3 of them. They all transformed together to form a camera, and they were called Reflector. So of course they're going to get everything set up just right. Transform, take the pictures, go back. They're good to go. Property superintendent. Now I didn't know exactly how to go with this. I didn't know if they were also building the houses. I went some more so that they were just the real estate agents and they're trying to get everything taken care of. But some real estate places do have property superintendents, the people who are over the current properties that they've got, check in, make sure everything's fine, everything else. It's got to be Ironhide because he was kind of Prime's right-hand man. He's going to be the guy to go to. Hey, listen, something's going on over here. You need to take care of it, whatever. If there is construction that needs to be done, it has to go to the Constructicons, obviously. So you've got those guys out there working on, if they're, doing additions to houses, cleaning things up, maybe this place is interested in also flipping houses. So they're going to be the ones that are going through and get things looking good. And then to kind of go along with that. So they're doing all the major housework. You've got to have curb appeal. So, the yard and gardening and stuff have to look good. So that's going to be the Dinobots. So you literally have these robotic dinosaurs out there, like putting in trees and, munching on the grass to get it nice and even. And so that's what I went with. Like I said, I wanted to use, members from both sides just because as a sitcom, I could see this, I didn't specifically say this would be a sitcom, but if you were going to do this, like, This would have to be a sitcom, and just to see how they're interacting with each other. So
I could see the gardening staff just messing with the construction crew.
oh, absolutely, yes,
Like-
and vice versa.
And vice versa. And it would just like they get into the fight and they totally like obliterate the
Just
place.
destroy the house and just like, well, shit, we got to start over. Yeah, I thought that would be awesome. So I'm so glad y'all gave me the groups that y'all gave me.
You're welcome.
So yes, thank you very much. Well, that is our main show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. Let's go ahead and move on to our picks and or pans. Would anyone like to go first on that?
Sure.
All right, Ray, what is your pick and or pan?
I got 2 picks.
Okay.
So one is Kris and I went to London yesterday just for a day date. Which is nice. And I absolutely love the Big and Tall store there because I'm able to get like t-shirts I love. And
Right.
This one, which is Deadpool and Wolverine.
Nice.
I'm like, hell yeah, that's awesome. So I will be wearing this on the first day that we go to see the movie.
Hell yeah.
Then the other pick that I have is Survivor. We've watched the finale. I still love the show.
Yeah.
The person that we wanted to win won.
Finally, that
Like,
never happened.
No, it never happened. So it was just, it was a really good episode. It was a good season. And I like when a good group of people kind of get to the end. So yeah. It was
Nice.
Fun watch.
Kris, what's your pick and or pan?
Yesterday, because the Dune is 2 hours and 45 minutes long. That's an ungodly long, unless it's Lord of the Rings. Please do not make it that long. But we finally watched the second one, but we had to do it in 2 parts, and we finished it last night.
Mhm.
I really like the pacing was a little weird. But
I have questions for you, Joseph.
Yes, we had questions,
Yep.
Joseph, because you've read most of it. But I really liked it, and I will stand by my original statement when I first saw the first Dune that I like it better than Star Wars. I just do.
Okay.
So, and then later, hi, cat.
There's a lot of cat.
He has the. Do you see that?
Yes.
Let go of it.
Little bugger.
So with summer coming and it being warm and stuff like that, I like women get a good pass because we can just wear dresses,
Mhm.
the yoga pants of comfort, because you have to wear pants. I found a dress. I bought one at Walmart that has pockets, and I'm currently wearing it. Dresses with pockets will never be underrated. They're amazing.
Dresses with pockets are like one of my favorite things ever. Just
Yeah,
because I'm just like, why don't you treat women right, please?
Exactly.
I was about to say I didn't know you had a closet full of them, Eugene.
Exactly.
Well, no, I just it's funny because Christy has a few and she's like, look, it's got pockets. I'm like, I like that dress. And it's like every woman I've ever met, if the dress has pockets, they will show it off. I'm just like, so simple. Why don't y'all do this?
It's
But
comfy.
not just pockets, but proper pockets that they can put their hands in.
Well, yes, no, yeah, exactly. Yeah. If it's like that big and you can't even fit a credit card in it, that's not a pocket. Yeah.
And this dress was $20 and it has nice pockets and I love the way it fits. And I'm like, this makes me happy when I wear it. And then my last one, which is a pick and a pan, is season 3 of Bridgerton came out last week. And I have watched it twice. And I'm just
Wow. Okay.
go. And
Well,
it's-
that's what was on. Yeah.
no. And it's really cute and it's really good. But the dirty part is, the crappy part is that it's only 4 episodes. I have to wait till June 16th or 13th. I can't remember which one.
13th. I looked it up for Christy yesterday.
For the rest of it, for 4 episodes. So fuck you, Netflix. What is that about? What is that? The splitting of the seasons? I don't understand. I need somebody to explain that to me. I if you're gonna split it up, do it once a week, because I think there's a couple of shows they have that do once a week episodes. Or just make more episodes. Here you go. Make more. We'll watch it. But I love it. I'll watch it again before the second half comes out. But that's not the point. I shouldn't have to hang on 4 fucking episodes of Bridgerton. I need more.
Yeah, Christy was not happy that the first show was only 4 at first.
And the way where it ended, I'm like, fuck you. I think I said that when I was watching because I was by myself.
You were by yourself.
everybody was at school or at work, and it ended. I'm like, fuck you. Are you kidding me? And I have to wait. And I promised myself, I'm like, I'm not gonna do this. I'm gonna pace myself. I did not. I blew my load in the first day. I'll admit it. But yeah, that's like, I hate that Netflix does that. It drives me nuts.
Oh, I'm sorry, friend.
I know. Thank you. He's not sympathetic at all.
No.
Joseph, you have a pick or pan?
I have 2 picks. I am a little over halfway. I think I have less than 7 hours left in the 4th book in Bobiverse. I've already gotten that far.
Nice.
Excited for book 5.
Okay, so 4 is definitely a different thing.
Yes.
The first 3 were obviously all written as
Together.
one big story. What did you think?
Oh, it's fantastic. I really enjoyed it. A little upset that I did not start sooner. And now I'm in a conundrum where I feel like I want to kind of go back and do them again. But I only get one audible credit at a time, so it's like, do I want to do that? Book 4 obviously represents the Skippies. Do I want to start Expeditionary Force? Like, where do I go from here? And there's a ton of those books.
Yes.
So I don't know, but books 1, 2, and 3 I thought were great. I thought they were really well written. Book 4, it took me a minute to kind of figure out the pacing of this one, because there's only 2 storylines. It's the Heaven's River thing that's happening, and then the Starfleet thing. There really isn't a ton of other stuff there. He's not doing as much world building because they're not going to other places as this one. So interested to see how book 4 finishes in anticipation of book 5. I do think that it is cool to see the evolution of the technology and stuff like that, especially after the battle with the others and how they've kind of like done stuff. If I remember correctly, the synopsis of book 5 is 2 of them. It's Mario and I forget who else. They're going to go to the center of the galaxy, which to me I think is really cool. So hopefully book 4 ends in a spot that kind of closes the door on what this is, and then it's a whole new story. But I kind of anticipate that even if this battle, I'm assuming they're going to fight with Starfleet, because right now they're in the Starfleet has taken over all the auto factories and shut everything like that. So I can only assume they're going to fight, and I can only assume the Bobs are going to win, because that's just the way storytelling works. But I don't think they're going to wipe them out completely, which makes me think there's going to be some more remnants of them in book 5.
It's so hard not to say anything.
I know, right?
I also am reading through this now and listening to all the stuff that Starfleet did, and got into the root systems and made the copy of the VR, and they were tagging Bill and all his speech and whatnot. I was like, why didn't original Bob put a kill switch in his descendants? Because then that would have been a real easy fix. It's like if a clone went or a replicant went off the rails, you just turn them off. That was one of my, and because then I think the issue, the way it's presented in the book so far that I've got, as far as I've gotten, is they don't know where Starfleet descended from, so they don't know who to.
Exactly. Yeah. That's something that that's you're having the same thoughts and questions that we were having as we were going through. We're just like, okay, well, where's this going? What happened here? And
I do know that I spoiled a little bit of book 3 for myself, because I went ahead and I got all 4 books at once, and I did not know. I had not figured out the order I was supposed to read them in yet. And so I read the synopsis for Heaven's River, and I was like, it was like after the battle with the others. I was like, who the fuck are the others? And then I was like, oh, okay. So that was my, so I knew, I mean, obviously it's storytelling, they're going to win the fight, but I was like, there was probably a little that got let on in there, but I think it's a very interesting concept. It'd be cool to see, I don't think it could be a movie. I think it's a little too convoluted, but like an animated thing because you could draw all the
Yep.
Van Neumann probes and all that kind of stuff.
See, we've been saying we'd love to see it as three, at least 3 for the first 3 books, 3 seasons of a show, because who the hell would not want to be cast and literally play most all of the roles? Like, and not even have to change your appearance that much, but you'd literally be changing the way you act as a character. I think there's a lot of actors out there that would die to be able to do that.
Just think of like Oscar Isaac and what he did with Moon Knight, and
yes,
James. It was his name, James McAvoy, where he played. I forgot. What was that movie? We had a whole bunch of Split. Yeah. Oh, those multiple like that. Yeah, you're right. It's essentially a one-man show. You know.
Yeah.
So that was my first pick. What's up?
A young Andy Serkis would have been fucking amazing as well, but that's that's you gotta. I don't know who that would be. I would go with an unknown.
I think that'd be cool.
So
so that was my first pick. My second pick is strictly just a shot at Christy. It is 64 degrees outside right now, and so my parents have been saying the feels like in the valley the other day was like 123. So I have been kind of like telling them, I was like, oh, my dad's 70. He will be 74 this year. My mom is 67. And I was like, maybe we're getting to a point to where when it used to be like when it's August, but now it's like unbearable. But if you get like consistent 120 pluses, maybe you come out here for your own health and well-being, not just, I don't want you to go outside and just collapse from the heat.
Yeah.
So it does not help that last week. So my parents' house is wide. It's a ranch house, so it's very wide. And because of the way it was originally built, it has 2 AC units that control like each side of the house.
Right.
And so last week, one of them went out. And so they were basically living on one side of the house. And when they finally got the other one fixed, the other one went out. And so they were on the other side of the house. And so my parents have been dealing with that. But, on the flip side of that, like we went to the Rockies game today, sunny, clear skies. I think game time was 68 degrees. And it's just like, man, this is perfect for baseball. Even if you don't care about baseball, just to be sitting outside, having a stadium hot dog and a beer and whatnot, it was great. So yes, strictly a shot at Christy because I know it bothers her.
Yeah, it's been in the low to mid 90s, and the heat index has been over 100. So yeah, that's why we spent yesterday down at our friend Chad and Sam's house in the pool. So which wasn't bad. When you're in the pool, it's not bad. So
yeah.
I only have one real pick. And then I guess technically a pan. So my one real pick, I've literally been doing nothing but working at work and working at the house. So I really haven't, been caught up on watching anything or anything. Hell, I'm still on episode 4 of X-Men 97. Like I haven't been able to watch anything else. The one new thing that I have done recently that I really enjoyed was this current month's book for the book club, Starter Villain. Oh my God, I'm definitely gonna have to go. I even went back. The only other book I have by Scalzi is the Kaiju Preservation Society, and that is a fun book as well. And I'm just like, supposedly he does write some darker stuff, but I'm like, I may have to go through and find some more of his, his light books and his one-off books and just go through those because so far 2 for 2, man. I've really enjoyed them. So. And you look at the cover of the book or the audiobook or whatever, and it's this cat in a suit, and I'm just like, what is this about? And yeah, it's just a fun book to read. Yeah. So if you do listen to Marginally Geeky and you read along with us, pick this one up. Like, go ahead, pick it up, tear through it so you can listen to the episode when we do record it here in a couple weeks and laugh along with us as we talk about it because it's a fun book. Mm-hmm. My pan, I guess to say, is me. I was forgetful and I was not a good team leader. And we have a married couple that joined our group in the fall, and Zal's birthday was Thursday or Friday, a couple of days ago, and made a post, wish Zal a happy birthday. Then on the Discord channel that we use, everyone was making comments or whatever. And I looked at it today and I was like, he hasn't commented on it. And then all of a sudden it went through my head. I was just like, oh shit, they live in Belton, which is about 25 minutes away from here, and like really next door to Temple, and they got hit with a tornado last week.
Oh my God.
And so I found their number and I texted them. I was like, hey, number one, I am so sorry I haven't checked in on y'all. Like, I forgot that y'all lived there. And they wrote back, and actually she wrote back, Jen wrote me back and said, everything's fine. We're okay. We've been without power for the last week. But everything's okay. We have power back. We're good to go. So they are okay. But some of our teachers, one of our teachers wasn't this tornado came through on Thursday. He didn't show up the last day of school. Actually, the last couple of days of school, maybe it was Wednesday. He didn't show up the last couple of days of school because his house got hit, not completely, but like there was a bunch of damage. One of our other teachers, him and his wife both work there. They're not going to have power for 2 weeks because a large tree fell. It didn't hit their house, thank God. But when it hit the power lines, it ripped the box off the side of the house, and the power company's telling them it's going to be 2 weeks before we can get another box on there because there are hundreds of people, thousands of people in the area right now that still don't have power. And, we're talking, like I just said, mid 90s, 100 plus with heat index. So it's miserable. And then we have more thunderstorms coming this week. So it's rough. So anyway, if you're listening and you do live in the Central Texas area, I know there's a lot of people out there, giving help and everything like that. By all means, reach out, find someone. If you know me and you're listening and you need help, by all means, let me know. So, because I was like, do we need to get, just as a group of Ghostbusters, like, we do look after each other. Like, do you need anything? Can we help out with anything? I was like, I read her message wrong at first, and I thought she was saying she wasn't going to have power until this coming Friday. And I was like, I've got that big 70-pound battery that I use that we use to like inflate Stay Puft. Like, it won't run a refrigerator, but you could run a fan off of it for a good long time and at least charge your phones or whatever. And like I said, she said they had already gotten power back, but anyway, it completely, skipped my mind that because most everyone is Georgetown and south of there, and we have very few members that live as far up as I do. So, but anyway, that is our show for the month, ladies and gentlemen. If you would please give us a 5-star rating on iTunes, no longer Google, but YouTube or wherever it is you listen to the show. You can find us at epicallygeeky.com, where you can find the other shows that we do, including the Marginally Geeky, Creatively Geeky, and Sustainably Geeky shows. Pardon me. Jennifer wanted me to say that no episode this month. She just wasn't able to get anyone scheduled, so she's going to be skipping a month. But we will be recording new episodes of the other two shows here fairly quickly. So then you can find us on social media, at least on Instagram and Facebook at Epically Geeky. Where can we find you online, Ray?
The Reluctant Yeti on Instagram, and you can see my latest post today of I got a bit of painting done, which was fun, and then I made some cheesy bread that was really good too. That
oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, so
nice. So, Kris, where can we find you online?
On Instagram at Moody Midlife.
Joseph?
Maybe just Google me. I'm somewhere there.
Maybe for your link in the show notes, maybe I should literally just do the Google search and just like copy and paste that. So, although be careful with that, because apparently if you're Googling stuff now, there's a specific tab for web only. They have screwed themselves so badly with their AI searches that people are now like, I just want the internet search. I don't want any of your special sauce or anything. Just show me what you're pulling from the internet.
Yeah.
So, that company's got money to burn, but if they're not careful, they're going to screw themselves up really bad. So, and as always, you can find my individual wacky adventure online on Instagram and Facebook at Optimus Gene. For everyone on the site, have a good night.